Kelsey. Thank you to everybody at NACAS for giving us this opportunity. And thanks also to Stephanie and Jason at Pitney Bowes and Ben at Grubhub. Those were both really interesting presentations, and I enjoyed them very much. We're going to finish up today with E&I Cooperative Services. I'm Sabra Shell. I'm Vice President for Marketing Services at E&I. With me today is Judy Schaefer, who's Vice President of Interiors and General Products and Services categories at E&I. She's going to be manning the Q&A and the chat. So if you have any questions as we go along, please feel free to send them her way, and she'll either answer them while I talk or we'll answer them together at the end. So, oops. All right, I didn't do anything there, did I? Hold on, I'm having difficulty advancing. Here we go. It's my fervent hope that most of you know who E&I is already, but just in case you don't, I'm going to take a couple of minutes and give you a quick overview of who we are, because we're a little bit different from the typical company that you might be working with, because we're not a company in the traditional sense of the words. We're a member-owned purchasing cooperative. So we have been serving the education community not quite as long as Pitney Bowes, who's celebrating their 100th year, but we've been around since 1934, so we're not too terribly far behind. And we are focused on education. Our primary service offering is a competitive portfolio of contracts. So this is kind of our official corporate statement. But what I really wanted to talk with you about today is, what does that have to do with NACAS, and why should you care? So again, the first thing I want to reiterate is we're a service organization as opposed to being a vendor. We don't sell anything directly. What we do is we pool our members' buying power and put contracts in place that our members can then use. The second thing that you need to know is membership is institutional, so you're probably already a member. Traditionally, our point of contact at a college or university is the procurement department, and that's where most of our memberships originate from, is through procurement. But because a membership is institutional, as soon as a school has joined E&I, then not only the procurement department, but any other department on campus has direct access to E&I benefits and services and the contract portfolio. The contract portfolio consists of, today, over 130 contracts. The vast majority of them have been competitively solicited through a public procurement process that meets most schools' compliance requirements. It's been validated by NIGP. And what this allows is, whether it's you or whether you're working through your procurement department, they or you don't have to go through the RFP process. You don't have to manage a contract, because we've done all that work, and we do all that work for our members and on behalf of our members. But it allows you immediate access to a contract vehicle that you can use to buy any number of ththings across your campus. And in many cases, particularly for smaller schools, you're going to be able to access better pricing this way, because we're bidding the contracts based on the aggregated spend of our over 5,000 members. So that's a little bit about who we are. Here are some of the key contracts available that might be relevant for you as a NACAS member. And we've kind of organized them here by category. So we've got a number of interiors and furniture providers. Southwest contract, I feel sure that you're familiar with. They do residence hall furniture. American Education Supply has participated with NACAS for a couple of years. They have mattresses, laundry carts, a wide variety of stuff for outfitting your residence hall. We have lounge furniture. We have furniture for dining areas, mattresses, quite an array of things on the furniture side. We have a great contract with UPS. As Stephanie mentioned earlier, we have a contract with Pitney Bowes that includes the fantastic intelligent lockers that they talked about earlier. Moving on to some other categories, you can see with Staples, we actually have not only an office equipment and supplies contract, but we also have a promotional products contract. So if you're looking to get shirts or hats or cups that are branded with your school's logo on them, Staples can help you with that. You can see as well some other categories that we have here. And I think that's, no, one more page. Yeah, so we actually have many more facilities contracts than I'm showing on the screen right here, but these are some of the ones that are probably most relevant to those of you on the NACA side of the equation. And then we have a nice travel portfolio. One thing I didn't include here in the travel portfolio is Chartwells. We actually have a contract with Chartwells that a couple of NACAS members have used to good benefit. So that gives you a little bit of an overview of who E&I is and what we have to offer in terms of a contract portfolio in general. But what I really wanted to spend a couple of minutes talking with you about today is kind of a new initiative that we've just launched specifically to support our members during the COVID-19 pandemic. And that is our PPE marketplace. I feel sure everyone knows what PPE is. It's very hard to say, but it's easy to explain. It's basically exactly what it sounds like. It's something that a person would use personally to protect them. So that's gloves, it's a mask, gown, hand sanitizer, wipes, those kinds of things. And what we've been hearing from our membership over the past few months is that they need more PPE than ever before, and they're really having a hard time in a lot of cases sourcing it. Early on during COVID, there were some pretty significant supply chain disruptions that were the culprit. A lot of the stuff was made in China, overseas, and things were shut down there. Then what began to happen is there was just such unprecedented demand for these products that you couldn't get them even if somebody had some, and a lot of it was being allocated or appropriated by the federal government and going out in a hierarchy. So education was not at the bottom of the list of organizations to have access to this stuff, but nor were they at the top of the list. The federal government was sort of trumping everyone. Healthcare and hospitals were coming in next. First responders, emergency workers were right up there at the top. And then education was coming in somewhere after that in terms of their ability to access this stuff. And it's been a continuing problem. The supply chain issues have eased up some, but many of our members are still having significant difficulty sourcing and securing adequate supplies of some of this stuff, especially those campuses that are reopening and bringing students back to campus. And so they've got not only employees that they need to equip, but they've got students that they're looking to equip with this stuff as well. So we created a PPE marketplace to try and help make it a little bit easier. Streamline the process a little bit for our members to get hold of this stuff. So it's a very narrow marketplace. It represents about 22 E&I business partners that were either already producing or have pivoted and begun producing during the COVID environment, this specific array of products. And then we've also included a couple of COVID-19 specific services like testing kits and contact tracing that are in real high demand across our member campuses right now. And the goal here was to try and make it easier to connect our member with available supply that might meet their need. The way a member would typically work with an E&I business partner is directly. E&I is not a middleman. We put the contract in place, but our members work directly with the business partners that we have contracts with in terms of getting quotes, placing orders, getting those orders fulfilled. We, of course, are available to assist if there's any kind of a problem or an issue that needs to be resolved. But our real role is to put the contract in place and then manage the contract. The commerce actually happens directly between the member and the business partner for the most part. So that's great in a normal environment, but in the current environment, that means that our members might have to call 5, 10, maybe even more business partners to find out if they have the PPE items that they need, if they've got the supplies in stock, and whether or not they can deliver it at a price that makes sense to them. That's a lot of extra legwork for our members in a time where they're really pressed both for time and with resources. So we created this PPE marketplace to try and handle that part of the equation for them. So here's how it works. It's pretty simple. There's a brief form on the E&I website, which I'll show you in a minute, that allows a member to go in and say, I need 100 boxes of blue nitrile gloves, size medium and large. I'm making that up, obviously, but you provide a few details on the specific PPE item or items that you need. You submit it, and then we've got order expediters on our side at E&I who will actually go out across all of our supply base and talk with each one of our business partners, deliver those specs to them, get a quote back from them. All those quotes will be consolidated into one return quote document that will then come back to the member within 1 to 2 business days. And then the member can look through those and decide whether they want to order from this one, from that one, whether they want to order some from here, some from there, or whether they don't want to place an order at all. And then based on what they decide, the process as it usually works picks right back up. They would submit a purchase order directly to the supplier or suppliers that they're choosing to move forward with. The order would be fulfilled directly by the supplier, and you go along from there. So the marketplace is located on the E&I website at eandi.org. If you went to our homepage and looked for the solutions tab right there at the top of the page, and clicked on the drop down, you would see PPE marketplace, and you'd click in here, and here you can see an overview of the marketplace. You can see the suppliers that are included, and you can see a couple of other COVID-19 related tools and resources that we have available for our members. Here's a little bit of what the form looks like. It's really very simple. You put in some basic information about yourself and your institution, and then there's a drop down. So if you clicked here, it would give you a pop-up. You could select the PPE item that you were interested in. You could, based on what you select, it'll give you a sub menu that allows you to give a little bit more detail. You can specify manufacturer. If you want to get your gloves from Medline, you can put that in, and then we'll go to Medline for the quote. Most of our contracts are competitively solicited, but a few of our PPE contracts that we put in place specifically in the past couple of months to meet this unprecedented demand, some of them are negotiated, so we have that articulated online in case that matters for some of our public schools. Then you press submit, it goes through, and we take care of it from there. So we've really only been live with this for a little more than a week. The initial response from both our business partners and our members has been really, really positive. People are appreciating the ability to get connected more directly and more quickly. They're appreciating the convenience of it. So we're hopeful that it's going to be something that proves of value and of service to our members, not only in procurement, but I know a lot of you guys buy stuff directly as well. I mean, we've heard that from our conversations with you before. Many of you go through procurement, but many of you are doing your own buying. So this is something that you can access directly, or you can point your procurement people to it if they're doing the buying for you. And that's really what I wanted to convey today. Here's our information. I already mentioned that Judy's on the call. I also wanted to include Paul Harris, who's our business development manager in the athletics, culinary, and travel categories. He covers a lot of territory there with athletics, culinary, and travel. The three of us have been directly engaged with NACAS for several years now. We may have met you at a NACAS event, and we look forward to getting together with you sometime in the future. That's really all I wanted to cover. I'm going to leave this slide up here so you can see other ways that you can connect with us besides our website, while we check and see if there are any questions that we can answer. Thank you.
So I didn't see any questions.
Okay. In that case, we'll hand it back to William. Thank you.